What's up, people? If you haven't read the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, you could just read the titles of the chapters and apply it to real life. I don't care if you're a street guy, work at McDonald's, or even a lawyer, this can apply to everyone. Today I'm relating to the underworld and how following these 48 laws will bring success, whether you're a boss or a foot soldier. I know my subscribers pretty well, and you guys are pretty smart, and we think alike also. So I know y'all gonna like this. So if you haven't subscribed, it only takes 2 seconds to click the button. If not, let's just get into the video anyway. Law number 1, never outshine the master. This is a very important rule when you're coming up under the boss. You don't want to seem to be any type of threat. Do not appear to be smarter than a boss. You must feed his ego. The last thing you want to do is have your superior unsure about you. You will never get promoted or up the ranks. A bothered boss can do a lot of damage to your career. Law number 2, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies. People put too much trust in friends. For example, giving them the combo to the safe. Smallwood let Porterfield pick his son up from school, and he ended up holding him for ransom. John Gotti took Sammy the Bull word, causing him to order hits that later he would find out would be lies. Keeping your enemies close. Carlo Gambino murders Albert Anastasia, then makes Albert Anastasia loyalist Nils Della Croce the underboss, and it worked out well for him. See how that works? Law number 2, conceal your intentions. Learn how to shut up and not let anyone know your next move. The person you're telling could step on your toes or beat you to it. Preacher told Malik he had property down south and he had a business that became very paranoid that Malik knew too much. Yes, when things are going good, we all like to share it, but sometimes that could bite you in the ass. Law number 4, always say less than necessary. Guys that talk too much is a sign of weakness. If you're going around telling your own business, what are you doing with mine? You don't want to be the guy that can't control his mouth. Now that was Anthony Ruggiero. That was his biggest downfall. He was caught on a wiretap, talking down on a boss and the people around him. His nickname was Crack Whack. But being caught talking down on a boss on a wiretap and your friends around you could put a major stain on your name. And that's one thing you don't want. Law number 5, so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Reputation plays a big role in the streets. That determines if you're going to get your money back that you loaned out or from a front. If your dope block or bando going to run smooth without stick-up kids, you enter jail with nothing but your reputation. So depending on your reputation, that would determine if you get an easy bid or not. Law number 6, court attention at all costs. If you're a nobody, you get treated like a nobody. When you walk into a room, someone should hear about you. Someone should have heard about you. Whether it's from a shootout, lighting up the courts with fireworks like Alpo, passing out turkeys like Skinny Joey, you should be a somebody. Law number 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take credit. You're only as good as your last envelope. You're no good if you're not making the boss rich and adding to his empire. No matter how many connects you find or how many guys you get rid of, it only adds to the boss's reputation. Law number 8, make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Some guys like to throw their money around. You have Alpo Martinez. He was trying to get as much muscle he can, so he would do things like bail guys out, knowing that they would return to thank him. Law number 9, went through your actions, never through an argument. When it comes to expanding, a lot of guys will love to doubt you. You have to show them, and when it's too late, watch them come flocking. You can say what you want, but it's all about the results. Law number 10, avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. It's that one person that leeches on you, that leeches on the people, that just brings them down. John Apples Porter, Henry Hill, the guy that killed Nipsey Hussle, they will never be happy with themselves. You keep them around, your empire will come crashing down. Now you see where I'm coming from? You see how using these laws, you could become successful to your business, to your workplace, anywhere. Learn to keep people dependent on you. To maintain independence, you must make others need and want you. Not everyone in the streets are earners. Some people are good behind the trigger. No matter what it is, make sure you are not worthless and your crew depend on you for something. That's how you become a captain, boss, or head of security. When they realize you're very useful, you get very far. Law number 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. By being generous, you can disarm even the most suspicious people. Once they are disarmed, you can manipulate them at will. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. Never their mercy or gratitude. If you need a favor, always have something to exchange that will benefit them. Some people will pay you in cash for a hit. Some may pay you in bricks. If you're talking about the mafia, some may even pay you in rackets. Never forget, nothing is free in this world. Jerome Johnson assassinated Joe Colombo, the boss of the Colombo family, and was killed on the spot. He died with only a couple of dollars to his name, but before he died, he purchased his mother a home. Both parties knew it was a dummy mission that would lead up to jail or death, so the house was negotiated. No matter what was the result, he wanted to make sure his mom was taken care of. So it might have been a check on top of that. The one person that could grant those wishes is Carlo Gambino. Law number 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. See, this is for the guys that are up to no good. Solid men wouldn't feel comfortable following this law. See, this is for the guys that want your spot, or it could be someone playing both sides, going back and forth, feeding both parties information so they could take each other out and be the last man standing. Law number 15. Crush your enemy totally. There's ways to crush your enemy without picking up a gun. To affect their money in any type of way could get them out of the game. Some guys like to take it as personal as getting family involved. If you want to crush your opponent totally, you go for something that they love the most. If you don't want to worry about that, then stay out the streets. Law number 16. Use absence to increase strength and honor. We all know that one person that always at the bar every weekend. They're not viewed as important versus the person that shows up once in a while. The one thing that makes a boss rare is he's barely seen. When a boss makes a public appearance, it seems to be special, but only mentally. Now here's some free game for my subscribers. If you want to rebrand yourself, you must go MIA for a while. Rebrand yourself, take a break from social media, give people a chance to miss you, then when you pop out, don't come around as much. You will not be viewed the same as the regulars, and people would assume you have some importance going on. Law number 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Being predictable is a flaw, and the right person can play you like a puppet. The guy that says he's 3 steps ahead is basically telling you you're predictable. He knows how you will react to the thing he throws at you, so he already have his pieces in place. Now, Benny the Chin didn't have to go to war with John Gotti. He sat back and made John Gotti think he was powerful than he was. He watched him self-destruct, and when Gotti went down, Benny the Chin became twice as powerful. Law 18. Do not build a fortress to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. You decide to isolate yourself from your enemies and the world at large, you cut yourself off from valuable information. Paul Castellano was the boss of the Gambino family, and he stayed in his big white mansion and isolated himself from his men, and the guys took it as disrespect, and that was one of the 20 reasons he was gunned down. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Now, this is not about fear. It's about knowing your place. And if you offend the wrong person, you could lose your bread and butter or your life. A lot of sensitive guys that are in power right now. You must watch what you do and say. The wrong joke can put you in a casket. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone. You ever notice the difference in the first time you do something for someone versus the third or the fourth time? You stay late for your boss, and then after a couple times, they start to expect you to do it. In any situation after the first time, it becomes entitlement. Don't be in a rush to tend to people's needs. For some reason, The people respect the person that does less for them. You see it mostly with females. They start to respect you more when you don't commit. Now, rule number 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Play dumber than your mark. Now, how many of us ask questions that we already know the answers to? Now, I know for sure I'm guilty of it. That's a way to see where loyalty is. To see if the person will tell you the truth. Like Paul Castellano, he asked Neil to get those FBI tapes that he already had. He just wanted to see if Neil was loyal to him or the other person. Rule number 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform your weakness into power. When you realize you can't win the war due to less manpower or firepower, it's okay to surrender, rebuild, and use that as a reason to become stronger. Rule number 23. Concentrate your forces. Now you want to focus your resources and energies where you have the most impact or get the most benefit. Otherwise, you'll waste limited time and energy. Now that's pretty self-explanatory. Rule number 24. Play the perfect courtier. Learn the rules. Even if you don't play by the rules, it better look like you play by the rules for your benefit. I'm pretty sure Alpo gave the impression that he would stand up and live by the codes. That caused him to rub shoulders with some serious men. Rule number 25. Recreate yourself. Midget Moley was selling dog food and was touching paper until he was booked and did time for attempted murder. When he got out, he saw that the game changed, so he had to rebrand himself based on what was on the streets to survive. Rule number 26. Keep your hands clean. Well, it's kind of hard to do that on the streets, so you know what to do. Get others to do the dirty work for you, such as enforcers, or some like to hire out-of-town shooters. Rule number 27. Play on people's needs to believe to create a cult-like following. Money, woman, power, cars, jewelry. If you're working under a kingpin, one of those things I just named were promised or expected once you got down with the team. Rule number 28. Enter action with boldness. No matter what happens, boldness will never leave a true leader. Even when you make a mistake, you must fix that mistake with boldness and confidence. One sign that you lack of confidence could make your followers question your leadership. Rule number 29. Plan all the way to the end. A lot of people look at having a plan B as settling. I look at having a plan B and a plan C as having options. A part of a master plan is preparing for the worst. In life, there are setbacks such as droughts, heat, snitches, robberies, and trust me, you won't get a warning before it happens. Rule number 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. On The Wire, they couldn't believe how Marlo accumulated so much territory with him being so young and independent. The way that he didn't lose sleep over war gave people the impression that he was playing the game better than them, and that's a good look. Rule number 31. Control the options. Get others to play the cards you deal. When going into any type of business deal, the other person must feel like they have a win. The choice you want them to make must sound like you're compromising and will give them the most benefit. Make sure they are aware of the consequences that comes with not making the right choice. Rule number 32. Play the people's fantasies. When you enter the game, the mission is to get rich, right? When Larry Chambers wrote those rules, he made it very clear that if they followed those rules, he guaranteed them they will be rich. Rule number 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weakness, a hole in his armor. Find it and its leverage that you can use to your advantage. Now, Sosa knew Tony wasn't messing with him when it came to soldiers. One thing that I always say is Tony needed more security. Tony wasn't in his right mind that night, and Sosa saw the perfect opportunity to take him out. He wasn't even going to give him any chance to prepare. Rule number 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. Act like royalty and people will treat you that way. Project dignity and supreme confidence that you're designed for great things, and others will believe it. And that don't mean walking around with a crown on your head. Law number 35. Master the art of timing. Never seem to be in a hurry. Hurrying betrays a lack of control over yourself and over time. Always seem patient. Don't be quick to react and play yourself. When you're patient, it gives you time to think about your next move. Law number 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Now this goes for anything. If you cannot get that girl you always liked, that girl you always wanted, that connect you always wanted, that job position, don't be a slave to your wants. If you cannot have it, ignore it. Move on. If not, you'll drive yourself crazy. You'll start doing things out of desperation. Chris wanted to make the newspaper so bad to make a name for himself, forgetting he's supposed to be under the radar. He does something as stupid as shooting someone in the foot. Now, lucky for him, he didn't get arrested and get hit with time for attempted murder. Law number 37, create compelling spectacles. Put on a show using stunning visuals and powerful symbols that connects with people emotionally. Create compelling spectacles and no one will notice what you're really doing. And I can't really compare that with anything, so I'll leave that to y'all. So let me know in the comments what you guys come up with. Law number 38, think as you like but behave like others. Now this is kind of similar to law number 1, never outshine the master. It kind of gives me the kissing ass vibe. No matter what you think, always agree with the rest of the circle. So you don't want to make anyone else feel inferior with your ideas. You don't want to seem smarter than your superiors. If they see you as a threat, they will keep you down with no promotion. Now Sonny passed over Lefty for a reason. Law number 39, stir up waters to catch fish. Now, we all know that one hothead that all you have to do is get in their head and get them mad. They move out of anger, which throws off their game no matter what. Tony kills his best friend / business partner after he finds out he slept with his sister. Now, some might understand him, but that wasn't a great business move, and that started to show when Manny wasn't around anymore. Another example, there's a sit down where there's 2 made men. If you can get the other guy to get angry and say something out of line, you'll automatically win the sit down. Law number 40, despise the free lunch. When someone gives you something for free, you're then obligated to them. What's the number 1 rule in jail? Do not take anything from anyone. What you think they're going to want after that? Even on the street, you don't want to feel like you owe something to someone and you have to do something you don't want to do. Free can be very dangerous. Now, law number 41, avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. If you succeed a great man or have a famous parent, you will have to accomplish double their achievements to outshine them. The pressure is on you. You have to carry the name. John Gotti Jr. decided to follow into his father's footsteps, even though he had all the money in the world. No matter how hard he worked to move up the ranks, people will say he's only there because of his father. People will start to compare him to his father, and when he became the boss, people would refuse to recognize him as such. Law number 42, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Get rid of the 1 bad apple as soon as you can to prevent 4 bad apples. 1 troublemaker is like cancer. Vic Arena was a bad apple that convinced a good amount of men to join him to take the boss to war, which was Carmine Persico. Unfortunately for Vic, it didn't work out the way he wanted it to, but that caused the Third Colombo War, which caused the family to decrease in size due to death in prison. Law number 43, work on the hearts and minds of others. Now, what does Preacher and Wayne Perry have in common? Besides extortion, they came off as friendly guys. They soften you up so they can break you down easy when the time comes. That could catch you off guard. Law number 44, disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Basically make the same moves as your opponent to throw them off. Now, I don't agree with this because you cannot make the same moves if you don't know their moves. Plus, you always want to make the best moves, not the same moves. You want to be a step ahead at all times. Law number 45, preach the need to change, but never reform too much at once. Now, when Paul Castellano became boss of the Gambino family, the soldiers knew it would be some type of change, but not a crazy increase on the kick-up and having to drop off envelopes at his front step, at his house. Those changes caused those guys to hate him, and you never want that. Law number 46, never appear to be too perfect. Envy creates silent enemies. The person that knows everything about you could take you out the game fast. Look what Apples did to his own nephew, trying to get money from Rich Porter. Guys want you to do good, just not better than them. Law number 47, do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, know when to stop. Do not get too cocky now. Arrogance can cause you to let your guard down. See, John Gotti beat the Feds twice. You would think he would start moving different, right? Wrong. The third time the Feds hit him where it hurts, and he lost. Arrogance was a part of his downfall. Law number 48, assume formlessness. Formlessness is strategic. It gives you the room to maneuver, to create surprises. Now this football season, fellas, so I'm gonna use this as a good example. Imagine if Tom Brady used the same playbook on every drive. He would never win. Now if you're a kingpin, you might want to start moving your stash spots. Switch up, drop off, and pick up locations. Be unpredictable. The biggest mistake people make is that they wait for something bad to happen and then switch up routine. But that's it for now, man. That's all we got. We're finally done. Shout out to everyone that enjoyed this playlist. It was fun. They have a book called The 48 Laws of Power, but I'm sure all you guys know that you could go get, or you could just watch this playlist to save time. Stay out of trouble, fellas. I wish you nothing but success. I'm out.
Have a fragrance, to have a signature scent, right? When people know you coming, that breeds confidence. When I walk in a room, when I feel like I'm smelling good, I'm looking good, I walk in with my chest in the room first.